Hello and thank you for coming to check this out. So this is the third of the themed titles guides that I'll put up, and as with the other ones, it focuses on a specific combination of masks that we can use to get some interesting effects going on. This time around we're going to make this Valentines themed title set. So it's using the same mask combination as the other two, but we're applying it to get more of a kinetic kind of thing going on. So our heart shape's going to rush in and move from side to side before rotating and scaling out to leave us just with this Valentine's title with the emitter revealed. So everything we need to put this together is all within Motion itself. There's no need to download any images or project files. So let's get into it. We'll start with a new group. I'll turn this one off. And we're just left with this white background here. So in this new group, I've got a copy of the font for the main title. And we can get moving on it. Come into the inspector, you'll see that I'm using the June Gull font, and I've got the size set to 300. The alignment is centered, and it's all centered in the canvas. But what I'll do is I'll grab the Y position and drag it down even more, so that now it's centered with 0 position here on the Y axis. Right, I'm just going to rename this group as lead, and I'll add a new group into the canvas, follow. So I'm going to come into the motion shapes library, and I'm going to search for pink heart, and there it is. So I'm going to add this to the group, and I'll come into the inspector and change the color from a gradient to just a solid, and let's make it red, and I'm going to use the color dropper tool to give it the same color as the font, and I'll turn off the outline. And I'll come into the properties and increase the scale. Alright, so let's get on to the masking. So I'll just rename it as lead shape. I'm going to right click on it and add image mask. And I'll use the Valentine's title text as the source. And then I'll come into the inspector and set the mask blend mode to subtract. Alright, so now I want to have the titles revealed wherever the heart isn't, so let's work on that. Grab that lead shape and Command D to duplicate it, and drag that copy into the follow group, and let's rename it as the follow shape, and delete the image mask. Now come back into that lead group and grab the titles there, duplicate them and drag them into the follow group, and I'll just add the word follow here to identify them, tell them apart, and we'll turn those titles back on. Now we're going to mask this group, so select the group, right click, add an image mask, and use the follow shape as the source. And then come into the inspector and change the mask blend mode to subtract. So now we've got one mask masking out and hiding one group of titles, and we've got another mask revealing a copy of the titles, which gives us this overall effect. So now we want to start animating this heart shape, but what we want is we want the follow heart shape to go everywhere the lead shape goes. So we want the follow shape to follow the lead shape, and we're going to do that with links. So select the follow shape, come into properties and drop down this position menu and add a parameter behavior link and drag the lead shape in as the source. Select the follow shape again, come into properties, drop down the menu for rotation. Actually, let's just select the Z rotation, which will make things less mucky in the keyframe editors. So select Z rotation, open the menu, add parameter behavior link, and add the lead shape in again as the source. And one more time, select the follow shape, come into properties and open the scale menu, add parameter behavior link, and again use the lead shape as the source. So now if we grab that lead shape and move it anywhere, the effect is maintained. Okay, so now we can get busy and start to animate. So I'm going to come over here to my view menu and turn on show full view area, and I'm going to reduce the size of the canvas a little so we can see what's going on. I've got that lead shape selected, and I'm going to start with it off and out of the way, and I'll come into the inspector, and with the playhead at the start I'm going to set a keyframe for the position, Z rotation and the scale, and I'll drop the scale right down move it to about here and turn that this way, and then I'm going to bring the playhead to 2 seconds, and let's move our shape right over to the other side to about here and rotate it and increase the scale. Okay. So you can see there's a lot happening in the keyframe editor now with all the keyframing that we've done. So let's let the shape sit there for just a few frames, come forward by 5 frames, and then come into the inspector and set another keyframe for position and for scale and for the Z rotation. But before we do anything else, let's come back and adjust these curves here. So what I'm going to do is select the menu here, and I'm going to choose new curve set, and I'm going to call it heart, so that I can get rid of the things that we don't want in here and make things easy to manage. So I'll get rid of position Z and scale Z. So I just want to work with transform rotation Z now, so I'll turn these guys off and let's give it an ease curve there, and I'm going to grab the scale curves and set their interpolation to Bezier as well. So that should give us a nicer animation. Okay, so from the 2-second and 5-frame mark now, we added our keyframes before. Let's bring it over to the other side. Let's just go forward to 3 seconds and 5 frames. Grab the lead shape, and so now cross to the other side in just 1 second. So I'll drag it over, and I'm going to rotate it and increase the scale more. And I'm going to drag to select these curves and set them to Bezier and do the same with the rotation curve here. Okay, so let's not let it hang at all. Let's have it move straight to the middle over 20 frames. So let's go to 3 seconds and 25 frames. And we'll move it to the middle, rotate it this way and increase the scale even more. And then let's go forward another 20 frames to 4 seconds and 15. And now we're going to increase the scale until the heart covers the canvas, and let's give it a lot of rotation, at least 360 degrees, even a bit more. Okay, this might end up looking a bit silly, but let's see what we've got. Not too bad. I will, for this one, we don't need to download anything. You can just follow along, and everything we need is here in the Motion library. But I will include a link if you want to download a full project file that I did, and you can get that and play with it from there if you like. So the heart and masking, first stage of the masking effect is all done. Let's add that emitter element now. So I'm going to just close up these groups, and I'll actually delete that whole group there. Alright, I'm going to add a new group, and just call this group the emitter. And I'm going to come back into the lead group and grab that lead shape and duplicate it and drag that into our emitter group, and delete the image mask, come into the properties and make sure the shape is selected. Let's just rename it as emitter source. Come into the inspector and reset all of these parameters, and we want to change the color to white. So make sure the heart is sitting over the title so we'll be able to see it, because the background's white as well. Yeah, okay, so now with that emitter source shape selected, hit E on your keyboard to turn it into an emitter, and come into the inspector to the emitter controls, and we want to change it from a point to a line, And the very next thing we'll do is come down here to color mode and choose pick from color range. So let's open up the options here and let's choose the range of colors we want the emitter particles to have. I'll just add a purple there and some red, and over here, how about this magenta, something like that. Okay, and come down to the scale options and drop the scale right down to anything that you like. So what have I got here? Let's go for 25% and set the scale randomness to 25%. Okay, and now right click on the emitter and choose emitter. Let's drag this line so that it runs the full length of the title. We can come in and set the emission range to 0, and so they're all dropping down now. So let's come to emission angle and adjust that until they're all rising up. So this is just a very quick job, and you can adjust things to make it suit your tastes. So as you see now, wherever the heart shape is moving, it's masking out the titles, and the titles are revealing the emitter, but we can see the emitter everywhere else. So we don't want that. So grab the emitter group, right click, add an image mask, come into the lead group, and we're going to use that title as the source here. Okay, so that's our Valentine's title set pretty much completed. There's a lot more that you can do with this, with all of the title themes that we've done. One thing for sure is that this particular titles project, when you render it out, it looks much better with motion blur turned on. It really does add to the style of it. So if you render out your project with motion blur, it will look better with it than without. Just before I took everything a little step further to add a title reveal at the end of it. And I'll make this project file available for download with a link in the description if you want it. So there you go. I hope that there was something useful for you in here for your future motion projects and Final Cut projects, and thanks for watching.